A one day match turned into a 20-over match. Players playing in colored clothes, a slip gully, silly mid-off. What was going through your mind?
Well, frankly, to start off, I think it's a bit unfair that, the ICC Champions Trophy 50 over format, we had to play a 20 over game to find the winner of a 50 over format. But still, I think they needed the result. So, I think there was something for the bowlers, especially I think spinners. If you bowl the right areas, if you can hit the seam, they were getting a bit of turn and it was stopping a bit. So that was the reason why we had those extra fielders, and also we wanted to put some extra pressure on their batsmen. It was very important that if it starts to turn, we had two spinners. We used Raina also very effectively, but it was important that with our main bowlers we get wickets.
Miss, two questions. One is, what did you tell your team when they went out to field? What did you tell them? Because they were defending a low total. And secondly, the Mahendra Singh Dhoni we have always seen is known as Captain Cool. Today, after winning, you showed kind of emotions you did not even show when you won the World Cup.
Well, this means a lot, because we are playing against some of the best sides, and also the kind of match that we had won. To beat England in a 130-odd run game is something that's very difficult. What was the first question? I always forget. So,
how did you motivate your team because they were defending?
Before going in, I said, let's first of all get rid of the feeling that it's a 50-over game. We are playing a 50-over format. It's a 20-over game, and we have seen in IPL and in T20 formats that 130 runs can be a very difficult target to achieve. And second of all, nobody looks to the left of the pavilion. That's the side where the rain was coming from. So I said, God is not coming to save us. If you want to win this trophy, we'll have to fight it out. We are the number one ranked side. So let's make it sure that they have to fight for these 130 odd runs, and don't look for any outside help.
Has it been your most critical speech so far to the boys till date?
Well, depending on the result you're saying, or
MS is not a great total to defend, and throughout the tournament, Trott has been the linchpin of their batting lineup. Was that, I have to ask you, was that dismissal planned?
No,
The leg
no,
side
no,
stump?
no, that was not planned at all.
But how important?
I think it was a very important wicket for us. Not only his, I think Cook also. The reason being they are the two batsmen who look to play through the innings, and the others they rotate around them, which means if they get a good partnership going, they can play freely. Especially on if you talk about this game, 130 odd runs, and if there's a big partnership going, then it becomes very difficult. In case the opposition, it was us for us to come back into the game.
Skipper, at any stage, when there was not any definity that the match would be played, did you think the tournament was missing a reserve day because because you never knew in a T20 match what could happen? So did you ever think that there was a need of a reserve day in a championship?
Well, I'm not sure about it. We just come and play the tournament. I'm not too much worried if there's a reserve day or not. That's something that the ICC needs to have a look at. The only thing is that the winner was decided in a 20-over game. When it comes to a 50-over format.
Hi, can you 15 World Cup, or is it still too far away considering the team you have? The nucleus of that team will remain 1.5 years from now.
Well, it's very difficult to answer as of now. People, especially players, they get injured very often. If someone doesn't have a major injury, most of these players, they will end up playing that 2015 World Cup. But it's too far ahead. We'll have plenty of tournaments before that, plenty of important series, ICC events, Asia Cups, and all those. So I think we're not looking too much ahead. We have a series against West Indies where we are going from here, and then Zimbabwe, and then after that we have some fair time off to get ourselves going, recharge ourselves so that we can avoid injuries.
When you all were batting, twice there were 2-3 rain interruptions, and eventually the conditions eased out when England were batting. You think that when in circumstances like these, they need to take care of when the other team bats. I mean, when the chase is on. Do they need to consider the pace at which the first team has batted? Because there were interruptions, so it was not the same when England were batting. Conditions had eased out. Could you make anything?
Well, first and foremost, in games like these, toss becomes very crucial. The reason being, if you see when we were batting, the good thing was it rained a lot, and it all started quite before our batsmen went into bat. A 10:30 start, we started very late. But after that also, once our batsmen went into bat, after every few overs they had to come off, which meant, people talk about, getting set, getting used to the pace and then playing the big shots. But it was never the case. The batsmen, whenever they felt that, they were set, they can play those big strokes, they were supposed to come out, and, we had a break of 15-20 minutes at least. And that really never allowed us to gain any kind of momentum or build a kind of partnership that was needed. And it reflected later on in the innings when the middle order went into bat. They played a few big shots and it never really paid off, went straight to the fielders. And I think it was the main reason why we ended up scoring less than what we should have scored or what we would have liked to score. So I don't think there's much that can be done. But you're right, there was a lot of problem with those breaks, and there were plenty of breaks. So I think we never gained momentum because of that. Lost 6.
The characters in your team who've done quite well, Sir Ravindra Jadeja today and Shikhar Dhawan through the tournament?
I think Shikhar, he has just carried forward his confidence from the test innings that he played. He went into the IPL with an injury, but as soon as he became fit, he was scoring freely, which I feel is very important. And he's a slightly different character. He's a fun-loving guy, but at the same time, he backs himself to play those big strokes that he plays. So I think that really helped him, especially in this tournament, and it's something that he will carry forward. He'll gain a lot of confidence out of the innings that he has played, especially over here, and that will really help the team, more often than not get off to a good start. Jadeja, someone who's, he keeps it very simple, just looks to hit the right area and the ball does the talking. And the good part was, he contributed with the bat, which I feel is very important because he's someone who will have to bat at number 7. And, now what we have seen is you can't play with 6 batsmen and 5 bowlers. The 7 number slot is very crucial, and he's the only one as of now, who can really do that job for us.
My 18th over of the England innings, there was a 6, there were 2 wides, and then two wickets. What were you thinking after the wides? And 2, Alistair Cook thought that Bell decision was very poor. You were right there. What was the view from your angle?
Well, I was not very close to the television, so I don't really know, and I've not seen the television. But there are lots of things that happen. If we start cribbing about stuff, then not to forget, as I said last time when we came over here and we were playing the 5 ODIs, there was no roping done. There was never any breaks to make sure that the outfield was in good condition. And we paid the price. Every time we lost the toss, we were bowling second. So every captain has his views. We all respect that. And what did you say, the second one? Ishanth went for a 6. There was strong breeze going across the stadium, and if you middle the ball, there were very good chances that it will go for a 6. And next plan was to bowl outside off, which I felt, Ishanth struggled a bit. So I said, no, let's get back to the original plan. This wide length delivery is not really working for you. So we brought him back and he bowled the slower one and it deceived the batsman. So it worked. As I always say, you have to see the strength of the bowler. You can't just impose a plan because it works for the batsman, but you have to see whether the bowler can really, implement that plan, because you have to see whether it's his strength or not.
You led India to victory in 2020, 50 over, and now this. How different is this team from the other 2? And also, is there anything more to achieve as a captain, because you have done it in all formats, all big tournaments? How does it feel?
Well, I never turn up on the field to, achieve something as a captain. For me, winning the game is very important, and that's of utmost importance for us as a team. And I feel the T20, the first 2007 T20 World Cup that we won, and this tournament that we have won, there is a bit of similarity. There were quite a number of players, who were making their comebacks, into the team. So they wanted to do well desperately and, be part of the team. And the same is the case in this team also. There are a few who wanted to do well and, have a settled position in the side. And the 2011 World Cup, I think it was the right mix. We had very experienced players. Some of them, felt it could be their last World Cup because of the age and everything. So I think, and also the fact that it was happening in India, we all wanted to do well, because the expectation was too much, and we just wanted to express ourselves. So I think the similarities between the 2007 and this team.
Take any extra pleasure from having beaten England in the final, particularly after such a tough tour when you were here last time and what happened in the Test series?
No, oppositions are just opposition for us. Doesn't really matter if we had beaten England in the final or some of the other sides. Because if you start looking at the opposition as particular teams, you want to win against, then you may find it difficult. So it's the same. Doesn't matter who we have beaten, but the thing is, we have beaten them quite well.
Last one. Over Ashwin bowled against Eoin Morgan, how important that played a part in the overall result, and you keeping him for the final over, possibly because I'm sure you wanted him to bowl in the batting power play.
Well, I think the plan was to keep the spinners for the 2 overs of power play. The reason being, English condition, they are very used to playing the fast bowlers, and with 3 fielders outside, our bowlers would have find it quite difficult to contain the batsman. So I thought, with a bit of turn and with the left-right combination going in, it would be good to keep the spinners for the last 2 or 3 overs at least. They won't look to rotate. They will have to play those big shots. But for that, it was very important that our fast bowlers bowl really well so that we have more than 8 or 9 runs per over in the last 2 or 3 overs. I think we gave away a few deliveries from which they could score, the fast bowlers. But apart from that, the middle overs, Suresh came in. He also bowled well, and that really kept the pressure going. As far as Ashwin is concerned, the 3 overs initially that he bowled, once Eoin Morgan came in, we said, let's look to put pressure on him. If he plays a bad stroke or chooses to go after Ashwin, very good chances he may get out. And if at that point we would have got him out, the game would have been slightly easy for us.
Last one. You left India after a dramatic news conference in Bombay. You reached here with some changes in the team. There's Shikhar Dhawan and Rohit instead of Gambhir and Sehwag, DK instead of Yuvraj Singh. How do you think things have panned out right from that day and the changes that you've done? Are you slightly disappointed that Rohit has failed to convert the starts? But just the whole thing, the changes and the new faces from that day.
It's a difficult one to answer, because we are talking about some really big names who have proven themselves over the years. But also it was important that we have a look at some of these new guys and give them an opportunity, because most of them, they have earned their places in the side, and it was important that they get a good outing. And that's what we have done so far. I'm glad that all 3 of them, they accepted the responsibility that was given. They took it as a challenge. And as far as Rohit is concerned, we all know how talented he is. And he has proved also, he's batted really well in difficult condition. And at times, actually, people said, winning the toss was very important. The second, by the time we went into bat, the wicket has eased out a bit. But in reality, they batted so well that it seemed there, not much was happening. But I think we need to give credit to them. At times in India, we have seen we just give the credit to the opposition. So I think they batted really well, both Shikhar and Rohit Sharma, to give us that good start that was needed. So I think it was a very important start for us, and that really kept us going into the tournament.
Thank you, Anand.
Are you going to shave?